Most executives I speak to agree on one thing. If we can't measure return on investment, we shouldn't roll it out. That instinct has served enterprise leaders well for decades, and it's exactly the instinct that breaks down when you apply it to general purpose AI. Because the uncomfortable truth is this: for tools like Copilot, Gemini, or any horizontal AI assistant, a clean, defensible return on invest calculation is not just hard, it's structurally impossible. Not because leaders aren't trying hard enough, but because they're applying the wrong mental model. The mistake is understandable. Enterprises are used to funding technology through business cases. We automate something, we save hours, we reduce cost. That logic works when the use case is narrow, the workflow is known, and the value is centralized. But general purpose AI doesn't behave like that. It doesn't replace a single task. It doesn't standardize one process. And it doesn't create value in the same place for every employee. Yet leaders still ask questions like, what's the productivity uplift? How many hours will this save? Which KPIs will move? And when the answers are fuzzy, the conclusion is often, this doesn't look mature enough. The irony is, the AI might be doing exactly what it's supposed to do, just not in a way your return on invest spreadsheet can see. Let's break the illusion. General purpose AI is not a solution. It's not even a use case. It's a capability layer. Think about how different people use the same tool inside your company. One executive uses it to reframe strategy memos. Another uses it to pressure test decisions. Someone else uses it to explore ideas they wouldn't articulate out loud. A manager uses it to reduce cognitive load, not task time. Same license. Completely different value. And here's the key point. Value is created locally, contextually, and unevenly, which means you cannot standardize outcomes. You cannot aggregate benefits cleanly, and you cannot attribute results to the tool without guessing. Any ROI number you produce will be heavily assumption-driven, sensitive to narrative framing, and impossible to validate 6 months later. This is not a measurement problem. It's a category error. There are 3 structural reasons return on invest breaks down here. First, usage is emergent, not designed. You don't deploy general-purpose AI with a fixed workflow. People discover value over time, often in ways leadership didn't predict. Second, benefits are often second order. Better thinking, faster sense-making, higher quality inputs into decisions. These don't show up as hours saved, but they compound. Third, the counterfactual is unknowable. You can't easily answer the question, what decision would this person have made without AI? And without a credible counterfactual, ROI becomes storytelling. So when leaders demand a traditional business case, teams respond by inventing one. That leads to inflated expectations, misaligned success metrics, and eventual disappointment. Not because AI failed, but because the evaluation framework did. Here's the pattern this usually creates. Leadership says, show me ROI before we scale. So teams run small pilots. They force artificial use cases. They measure shallow metrics like usage frequency or task time. The results come back inconclusive, and leadership concludes this isn't delivering value. What actually happened is worse. People learned just enough AI to realize its potential, but not enough to use it responsibly or creatively. Meanwhile, shadow AI usage increases outside governance. You end up with lower visibility, higher risk, and less strategic learning, all in the name of financial discipline. Now let's talk about what general purpose AI actually delivers reliably, just not in the way leaders expect. First, increased AI literacy at scale. Not training slides, not conceptual understanding, practical lived experience. This matters because AI literacy is the prerequisite for identifying high ROI, vertical use cases later. You don't discover those in isolation. You discover them because people start seeing their work differently. Second, reduced shadow AI risk. When sanctioned tools exist, governed access increases. You don't eliminate shadow usage, but you lower data leakage risk, compliance exposure, and fragmentation of practices. This is risk reduction, not productivity gain. And it's very real. Third, strategic optionality. Once AI becomes normal, not novel, ideas surface faster. Experiments cost less. Organizational fear decreases. That optionality is invisible in a quarterly ROI model, but it shapes your future operating model. So here's the reframing leaders need. Stop asking, what's the ROI of general purpose AI? Start asking, is this a capability we want our leaders and teams to have? What risks do we incur by not normalizing AI usage? How does this enable future measurable initiatives? This is not a project decision. It's an infrastructure and capability decision. Just like email, search, collaboration tools. You didn't justify those by calculating per-user productivity gains. You adopted them because not having them became strategically unthinkable. The biggest mistake executives make with AI is treating it like software. General-purpose AI is closer to a new layer of cognition in the organization. You don't fund that because you can prove ROI up front. You fund it because it changes how people think, it changes what ideas surface, and it determines whether future AI investments succeed or fail. If you insist on a clean business case, you'll get one. But it will be fictional. The more honest question is simpler and harder. Do we want an organization that learns how to think with AI or one that waits until the advantage is already gone? That's the real decision.